no one's landing on OUG, so a lot of these teams, I think, just prioritizing getting their hands on Fireflies themselves.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really surprise me that much. The other day, I was talking about it, and I thought that although it is easier to grief I think it's easier to grief a solo player because they it's kind of hard to actually. It's kind of hard to always predict what a team in trios is going to do. You can't always tell what they're going to do, unless your name is J-Team, you know? J-Team, they were extremely predictable, always landing as
City of Tang or Sunwing, if we're on Mars. That being said, Alex M coming in with one of the first kills in the lobby. That F3 just doing such a huge chunk of damage when Armor hasn't already entered into the equation. That's going to be really good news for GG, who already picked themselves up too. You start looking to loot on up scale through to be able to challenge and contest some of these other teams that are going to be out for them. 3-3-0 away from the rest of his team, however, I think got a little bit greedy in terms of that kiting loot path. KLA looking to keep the switch and separated. And 3-3-0 is going to go down away from the rest of his two players.
Indeed, it's not looking too crazy so far. We do have 5 people currently in soul form. We have GG and Wolves getting pretty close to each other. It's possible that we see an engagement happen here. Wolves is definitely at a bit of a loot advantage, I would say. They also have that Tessa ult ready to go. But it doesn't look as though they're going to be fully engaging this. CJS with that white armor, trying to be as inconspicuous as possible. KLA now rolling through with their purple armors already. See, this is something that we're actually not going to be seeing in the future, or in the very near future. The changes for next season are going to be coming very, very soon. This week, in fact, and we're likely not going to be seeing all that many purple armors off the rip anymore. It's going to be predominantly blue and white armors, as we're not going to be able to find purple rarity items out of just normal troves. There's little piles on the floor. But we're heading on over to Celestra here. We have OUG scrapping it out against JL. Two of the teams that, I think it was in the King's interview at the end of the final day of qualifiers, he was talking about how JL was probably the team that they gave the most respect to, so to speak. The team that
they
were
have 2 world champs.
Worried about the most.
they did pick up TXJ and VVV. As OUG is going to immediately come in with that.
It doesn't look like it's going to matter.
Yeah. Oh, well, we dodged the Tessa ult. JL FX does get clipped by it, so he's going to get enchanted in a matter of moments. SS with the horizontal charge on that longsword, just sending it fully into these players of JL. Really good initiation coming through from them. They do have to worry about being third-partied by Alliance, as we're going to see Bo start to roll on through as their namesake equipped in the secondary. Just wants to get a little bit of pressure out onto OUG's players. Maybe see if you can bait out that second state of Tessa ultimate. As well, off screen, we actually did see, I believe it was Wolves picking up another kill onto one of the GG players. Tessa V1 comes on out, and immediately everyone from Alliance just dogpiles onto that poor Viper. Dragon Slayers into Netas. The Wuchen teleport is immediately called in. SS just has to book it out as quickly as those grapples can carry him. As Alliance are going to continue applying a little bit of that pressure now, knowing that the Wuchen TP is going to be taken away, and that Bo is going to be able to come back in with that Tessa V1 to try and land another of these stuns. And this time, if they're able to get one player locked down, Alliance do not have the cap to call in to be able to survive it. Alliance's Revenge just avoiding getting grapple cancel, or rather Revenge trying to look for the grapple cancel onto OUG's The King, who's trailing a little bit behind. Wind Walls coming on in to be able to block a little bit of range projectiles if Alliance try and pepper through with that bow. As OUG kite towards the no-ult zone, ring the dinner bell and make sure that Alliance aren't able to use the ultimate deficit between the two to just steamroll onto the team. Bo going aerial with the bow, trying to just come in with a landing hit. Maybe isolate a play from OUG. The King is going to be isolated. SS is the target that they decide to go for. He dodges the Tessa V1, however, and returns with a Viper V1 to create zoning. And as a result, lane gets left behind. Oh no! Awful disengagement comes through from Alliance. Now OUG have a numbers advantage. SS without the armor just has to play a back position with the horizontal longsword charge ups. Hitting onto all of these players, picks up the Soulburn to get a little bit of a heal. Alliance this time are the ones who are going to Wuchen teleport out, but it is not 100 meters down it's nowhere near far enough. Lane just jumped onto with a pulse on off of the grapple, and immediately OUG are going to be able to turn this fight around yet again.
What a performance coming out from OUG. So I was initially surprised. I was thinking about it. There is a Firefly that spawns very, very close to where they are. I wasn't sure if that 3-ban zone was up initially because we didn't have vision of it, but I was anticipating that they were running directly to that Firefly to try and grab it so that they could potentially turn and fight this, but I don't think they did manage to pick it up. Instead, they ran straight to that 3-ban zone, locked it down, and then they played around it very nicely. The fact that you can stand just outside it and use the Tessa ultimate as well as the Viper ult, and it's still having an effect on somebody who's within range but inside the 3-ban zone. Very, very nice, very nicely done. Very smart play. I'm not gonna lie, I do feel like the 3-ban zone getting cheesed like that is a little bit sad.
Yeah.
Because if you get what I mean. But hey, you gotta use it to your advantage there. XCG there picking up a kill onto Bowder's Yeran on his lonesome in a 1v3 situation, unable to get away, unfortunately. We're heading on over to FPX, who's scrapping it out with BBE. 2 men down. FPX Water still trying to make it work with that Moonbane, and he manages to get the kill! Oh, the Moonbane dropping down onto Roy Shishi's forehead in that Yoto ultimate, and he's unable to avoid it in time, unfortunately. Very nicely done for FPX there. BBE having to go and resurrect themselves somewhere else, unfortunately. GG heading on over to the desert, scrapping it out against JL. JL kind of need to win this fight or disengage, as they unfortunately don't have their resurrections available. TXJ getting taken down extremely low. The V3 not offering that stun, so he wasn't able to get the stagger onto the Farrier mech. Although they do get the shorter 3-second stagger from the Tessa ultimate, so it's not nothing, but it's not as long as the Viper stun would have been. They're managing to make it work nonetheless. GG. Oh, the parry coming in onto LXM, and LXM and his team having to immediately teleport to safety. It looked like there was damage reduction on that as soon as he started getting teleported, just immediately getting out of there. And JL managed to fend them off and stay alive in this game.
Yeah. Good coverage as well from the rest of his team the second that they saw that Cavalry Bloom getting parried, because LXM, he showed that he had Cavalry Bloom. Once the Viper had managed to find that connection onto the Farrier ult, he was just dancing around the sidelines of that fight with Cav Bloom. And it's a very good Jade to play off of Stagger. It's very, very risky to throw on its own in a 1v1 situation, because you're just going to get jump parried.
I mean, at a certain distance, a certain distance is definitely a bit, it's a little bit risky. A little bit risky.
If you're playing it off of something like a Decatur ultimate, it can be great.
Oh yeah, the lawnmower. Just running around. We've seen it so many times. Thing
that we'll ever get to see to the pizza cutter of doom, because I mean, no one's going to be picking those up from the Morris blessings.
Yeah,
the reason why everyone is just waiting around these portals is because we now have 3 realms of Yang, and everyone wants to be the last team in to be able to get that free Vermilion Bird's Might, which is why it's going to be 7 seconds. And I don't think anyone actually went into that 3rd portal just yet, as XCG and KLA decide to step on through, try their luck, and now have to see themselves through each other. They want to be able to get those blessings. XCG's Kakaishi just trying to find an opening with this bit to be able to turn up into that horizontal slam. F2 comes on out from the Yoto to be able to cover it. Kakaishi's going to be lending his own. Will be able to activate it again to get in golden focus if he feels like he's being challenged. As we have the first Farrier mech actually being invested. This is before the Yoto ultimate came through, which is going to make it pretty tough to be able to cover once that Yoto ultimate is gone. As Kakaishi now with his ultimate is going to be trying to apply this pressure onto the players of KLA. XCG's NiceQ also inside of that Uation ultimate, just trying to find any kill that they can. Ooh. KLA CXE does indeed go down. XCG's down and hopping into that mech, looking to be able to keep applying the pressure onto KLA, keeping them split. As Kakaishi just keeps pushing through with these skill rushes of that spear. Now the Yoda ultimate comes on out, 1/taken, teleport out from 17S to be able to reposition, as everyone from XEG just kind of ignores the Yoto and goes on another player. But unfortunately, it means that KLA are actually able to find the kill onto NiHQ as a result. 30 seconds left. It's still winnable for both of these teams. At least it was until we see the martial art Jade coming on through from that spirit. The damage, absolutely insane. QGG looking to try and bait 17S into throwing a focus. It's going to be KLA walking through with the kill. No one expected the Shaolin art spear Soul Jade dunk.
That Jade is crazy.
The price.
That Jade is absolutely nuts. The range on it is crazy, and then not only that, but the duration. If you're hit by it from the start to finish, it lasts for so long. So in trios, it can be very, very helpful for your teammates to be able to jump in and follow up on the stagger. And then not only that, but it does bonkers damage as well. If any of you haven't used this Jade or managed to try it out, it's one of those sleeper Jades that you hardly ever see and don't really end up using most of the time. But it is extremely strong. However, don't just go throwing it out willy-nilly, because it's not cancelable. So some Jades, you can cancel them, or some animations, you can cancel them by dodging at a specific time, or you can even throw out a grapple to cancel the attack. However, with this Jade, you cannot cancel it unless your name is Taka-G and you've popped that V button. You cannot cancel it, unfortunately, so you have to be very careful by heading on over to XCG versus WBG. The Tumulk ultimate has been thrown out. Axial, he's suffering. He's had his ultimate popped, and he's always so very low, and he does get taken down by NiHQ. NiHQ managing to pick up this Soul Bloom, or XCG rather, Kakashi picking up the Soul Bloom to cleanse that Yang depletion that they accumulated in the realm of Yang here. Kakashi trying to lock down Baige. Baige's trying to climb the tree, but no, he's not managed to hide behind it in time. The Farrier turret shot hitting him in the dome, and he's hold checking though. He's holding these blues as long as he can, trying to bait those parries out, and then overholding them just enough so that he can get that damage. Unfortunately, he's not able to survive. Only one member of WBG makes it out alive, but not for long, considering the Yang depletion he has himself. But we're heading right on over back into the action. DRG versus KLA. KLA is in a pretty good spot here. They still have a minute left on their Vermilion Bird's Might. They are able to die and then come back to life if the moment arises, but they don't need it just yet. They take down Wu Xing from DRG. 17S throwing out the Yoto hold, 1/, teleporting. The damage is insane. He doesn't even need to use it all. That gold pulse sword amping up the damage on that Yoto Hime ultimate and just obliterating DRG. What a performance.
Not just that, but the amplified damage as well from all of the players that are standing around, because a couple of patches back they changed the Yoda ultimate where it now amplifies.
That's not for all of them, is it?
That is for V1, yeah. That's true.
I think that may have been V3.
V3. That being said, I'm pretty sure they also have the Arachnid Soul Jade attached to one of their players. So they're going to be doing oodles of damage when they're going to be able to come in with those melee hits. As XCD are actually going to lose a player to OUG. And I do believe that WBG's third player, Sleepwalker, has still not been picked off, which is going to be problematic for the team that they were fighting, because that means that only 2 players got cleansed of that Yang depletion.
Very true.
So
I also think
going
that
to have
the
to
rebirth charms may have been bought.
Yeah.
I think they might have been bought out.
Fat Milk bought a rebirth charm for the side of BBE. XCG might go for the play of just having one player go down to zone, just drop all of their gear, spend the coins to be able to come back into the rebirth charm, which is one of the reasons why we're seeing so many teams in terms of glyphs, which are also going to be changing next week, running discount on those shops, as OG's U is just scrolling up at the moment, wanting to get a little bit of an idea of scenery, as XCG's players going all the way out into the zone. Are they hunting for someone, or are they specifically looking to pick up one of their players for
I think they might be trying to just sort of completely avoid wolves here waiting at the edge of this at the edge of the zone. But another quick note, actually,
incredibly low.
Yeah, very, very close to each other as well.
Wolves are 100% looking for a team. Yeah, you can definitely see. GG just won their realm of Yang free, I believe, since they didn't have any kills in the kill feed, and they're automatically going to pick themselves up White Tigers first, which means that they're going to get a lot of healing in the next couple of minutes.
I'm surprised that they picked that up as opposed to the Mystic Might.
Yeah, Mystic Might is definitely one of those that a lot of teams gravitate towards, but I guess with TRIOS, there's already still 32 players left, so you don't really feel like you need to be able to use it. Speaking about using it, Aurora's comes out into the open and everyone scatters away from it. DRG's WFS is that focus light that the Takeda has.
It is
That's going to be incredibly problematic for these players in a 1v1 situation because you can't parry it, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's just sliding into everybody. The floor is a slip and slide, and QGG off of that is just forced to immediately go into the Yuetian ultimate because he knows if he hadn't, he would have been isolated out by everybody else. Pele dumping in so many of these ultimates. Barrier Mech is gone. 17S now going to be under fire. The charged horizontal on that spear doing so much work. Is QGG still in the ultimate? Is going to be able to come in and try and scatter some of these players outside of it now. Just trying to cover for his Yoto and play off of the stagger setup. The Takeda shoves attempted to come through, but WFS still goes down to the V3. And despite Pele being the ones actually pressured into over-ulting, they're the ones that are able to focus down specific targets and confirm those kills that are needed.
Maybe this is the line. Just use it all at one time. Just use everything. But yeah, they are going to be picking up that Mystic Might buff. And yeah, I do think that the Mystic Might, although I think it's just... It kind of is a little bit better in general for trios, because I was thinking about this yesterday. Not only is it going to allow you to try and pick off certain lone members of teams that they've lost their teammates and they're trying to stay hidden, but not only that, but you're not really able to get the full value out of White Tiger's prowess, as the bonus stats that you get from that only get given to the person who gets the kill. So you can't, it's kind of hard to get 9 kills.
But I feel like for GG, it's sort of situational, right? Because they're one of the teams at the top in terms of early points they're picking up. We've already known that both KLA and Wolves tried to grief them on drop. They're running the Viper variety, so they don't have any way of sustaining themselves. So having that heal might actually be better priority than Mystic Might, because you're not actively looking for kills at the moment. If you're GG, the way that they actually play this Viper variety is a lot slower than a lot of people. They prioritize just scaling up and then in final zone, protecting one in their own, always guaranteeing that all 3 of their players make it, and sharking through everyone isolated fights when everyone's scrapping out for the center.
Yeah, potentially. But, well, I mean, I think it's definitely could come down to preference. Yeah, definitely. But we're heading on over. DRG, the pole sword was coming in there. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to lock down that kill, forcing out the Wu Chen ultimate. They do have the Yang depletion. They need to chase them down to see if they can actually cleanse it and make it out alive, make it into the end game. But one more thing that I wanted to know is another thing that is changing next patch, ladies and gentlemen. These gold jades, the arachnid jade, all of that, the crossover jades are finally being removed, it seems. They are no longer on the test server, so you don't have to worry about getting poisoned when you're clanking against somebody anymore. Don't worry about
that's Soul Jade. That's Soul Jade.
Yeah, that Soul Jade is just
in
absurd.
solos, I mean, Mike got that for a couple of days in a regular week, and it was just GG's as FPX. Currently getting jumped on by DRG, who just have to fully commit everything because of that Yang depletion. Good news for them is that they know that the Wu Chen TP is not going to be up. Bad news for them is that they're also being collapsed upon by another team, XEG. Showing up to the mix. FPX's water just trying to throw the arms on that pan fire carriage. No! It's on to Xiaohu. You know, it would have been really funny if it was water, because then I could say that the fire got doused, but fortunately it's Xiaohu who gets dunked on. And that is the worst possible player to lose, because that is your Wu Chen, who could maybe have been able to teleport the body on out. But no, XEG with an absolute sublime third party They didn't even need the kills. They were just doing this to grief these other teams, knowing that people had gone into the gang and would be actively taking a lot of fights.
OUG's out completely. I just noticed.
Ultimates as a result.
Indeed. I just took a look at the leaderboard. OUG's out completely of this game with 9 kills, unfortunately. But FBX currently sitting in second place with 14 eliminations, a total of 23.8 points. What was the threshold? 74? This is just game 1, and we're not even close to the final zone yet. I mean, it's zone 3's closing in. That is true.
They did lose
but if you're missing a player, you kind of want it to be Wu Chen. Although it would have been nice for Wu Chen not to go down there so that he could teleport out of the body of his teammate, considering that they're going to be going into endgame relatively soon. And as some of you might know in chat, Wu Chen kind of loses value the longer you stay alive in a game, the further on into the game that you get. As quite frankly, where are you going to teleport if the zone is tiny? You know, everybody's around you. It's going to be very hard to actually find a safe spot to teleport to. And speaking of safe spots, XEG is not in a safe spot whatsoever. They have their ultimates, but the silence coming out from lane just preventing him from using it. Oh, just taking them down, coming in from the zone. Bowder also smelt blood in the water. They're circling around, seeing if they can pick up some scraps, but it doesn't look as though they've got anything left over. They munched it all up. Alliance, pretty decent performance. You know, it's only 4 kills, but as with this team, it's kind of hit or miss. It can be kind of hard to occasionally get the ball rolling if you've died off spawn, or if you've not really managed to find all that many teams to third party, or just to get a good engagement on. 4 kills though could still translate into a pretty solid game. There are 18 players total in the game at the moment, so 15 potential kills to be had, though it's unlikely. It's still
true, but they've denied a lot of these other top teams, as we can have a quick look at Wolves' replay.
Yeah, I was
just
wondering
getting
where
caught
OUG
by that
went.
Tessa V1. Ooh, that's Phoenix. As we're now going to be seeing all of the damage out onto SS, the King coming on in, trying to land these Dragon Slayers. Will he be able to catch on to one? Nope. Oops. Egg comes in with Vanessa's first, and we'll be able to land it onto the poor Viper, who's forced to just back off, leaving you to the mercy of the pack. Wu Chen teleport comes on out, and unfortunately they're just not able to find any of the downtime, because in comes FBX, who see that Wu Chen teleport and instantly zero in on the players left behind. XEG also going to be losing 9 HQ, and sort of returning to the point that we wanted to talk about, right? GG, I believe, are down to 1 player. OUG are also not doing so hot this map. XEG are down to 1 player as well. It very much feels like a lot of these teams that were middling coming into the first game of the day have gone out of their way to try and track down the rotations of the teams ahead of them. So even though we were seeing the likes of GG and FBX sitting around 10 and 14 kills, they're not going to be able to translate it into a good multiplier, as poor QGG, like you said, is just getting absolutely hailed. Cloudy with a chance of triple scatter shot. Oh my goodness, the ball hits him. He takes cover on the inside of the building. Thankfully, he's far enough away from the AoE damage from those cannons, because my goodness, if one of those had flame breath and it connected onto him when he was healing, he would have been an absolute goner. As he just has to try and reposition with that pole sword. Bowda doing everything they can to chase away everything around them so that they can pick up this Moorish Blessing and upgrade for free, and with the Moonbane as well. Right in front of that box, no one is going to challenge, and that is a Z-Ping! Legendary armor. And speaking about those Soulland crossover, Dunk, there's one right there.
There is indeed, and I wonder which one it is. I don't know, to be honest.
I think it's the extra.
I wish I could read Chinese.
I'm pretty sure it's the extra health one.
Maybe. I mean, they didn't pick it up.
The arachnid one is either an arm bone or a leg bone.
I'm curious as to why they're not picking it up, though. It must just not be the one, you know. It's not the one you want. I mean, the thing is, with Jade setups going into endgame, there are very specific things that you want. You want some health. You want some. So your range weapon Jade, so your fire arrows, your rupture gale, all that sort of thing, and occasionally you just don't have space for it. Unfortunately, it is what it is.
Oh, it is the health one. It's trunk phone. It increases maximum health.
Oh, did you just look it up, Pog?
Yes.
Okay. I'm surprised then, to be honest. Yeah, I'm surprised, to be honest, then, that they didn't pick it up, because health can be very, very valuable heading into endgame, as it'll help you out. Oh my lord, DRG WFZ just getting absolutely cooked on the drop down, desperately trying to stall as long as he can before he has to pop his ultimate. But then the tables turned so quickly. Baige almost getting one shot, but it doesn't matter. He still gets taken down. WFZ, unfortunately, unable to stay alive. Oh, wait. I thought it was a 2v2, but no, it's still 3v2 here. Baige trying to chase down Moonlight. Oh, the dragon. Oh, the dragon. the dragon. I thought it was Dragon Roar for a second, but no, it was just
it's just
the
normal
nunchucks. Yes.
Normal baby half charge.
Managing to turn it around though.
It still catches onto two players because they stack in front of the nunchuck.
Yeah, he just ran into it.
It's a good thing it wasn't Dragon Roar, otherwise that would have been a whole heck of a lot more damage, as we're down to 16 players. Pretty decent final zone for a lot of these teams, actually, especially for Tesla teams. There's a lot of scenery to be able to obscure when your ultimate is coming through. But for Farrier as well, there's a lot of verticality to be able to play around those mech spacing. The one thing is going to be really awkward for is Takeda, with all of these buttery rocks to try and combine and extend off of your ultimate.
I feel like it kind of works in his favor as well, though, because if you manage to knock a team down onto the buttery rocks, you can, because it's independent of you, Takeda ultimate, you don't have to actually have footing or anything really. You can just push people onto the bad terrain, and potentially your teammate who's in a good position to try and take advantage of it can do so. But Water, he was not in such a good position, forced to use his Tessa ultimate. Extremely low HP there. Dongqing as well, getting taken down extremely low. The bow shots coming in, but the double parry into the dual blade sap. Beautifully done there, managing to keep himself alive. Yeah. So unbelievably low. Oh, Bo. He's trying to keep his teammate alive, but he can't.
Yeah,
he can't
Bo's
cut through all the projectiles.
He's got the hyper armor out with the cavalry bloom to be able to try and protect everyone best he can from the range, but Baida's still able to take one down. BBE take down affixes Dongqing, who's not going to be able to double parry his way out of that one. KLA 17S looking to knock some of these players into that corruption damage with the Farrier. Did have to use that V3 a little bit earlier, I'm sure, than he wanted to, but he's going to be able to try and just create the space for his Yoda to come back in with the ultimate, as it looks like this zone is going to close up directly onto that cliff face, so it is all hands on deck to be able to control that high ground. But you have all of the spacing, and don't get caught out. Bodies on cliffs, charging things up like Fan R&B and Phoenix Blast, as Baida just continue to send it out, chaining together Phoenix and Aurora, so there is no place of safety for any of these teams on those middle shelves. BBE's Ivan, off of that, will be able to build into the Farrier mech, trying to keep this pressure up. Fatmalik does go down in the meantime, however, and BBE's Ivan is alone at the moment as KLA 17S using the teleportation on that Yoda ultimate to be able to reclaim the high ground as BBE's Jing just tries to come on through Aurora Burst, making it so much harder for these players to be able to stake a claim with the silence attached to that Soul Jade as Baida's Jing just decides to put a little bit of pressure in, then dodge back onto that shelf, get a little bit of a heal off, wait for KLA 17S to run out of Farrier mech charge as Baida returns to that same middle shelf. Durant charging up with the pulse, so scale rush to be able to land a connection onto all of these players. Viper ultimate comes on through, 17S caught directly in the middle of it. KLA just letting it go, does dodge the Tessa V1 coming on out afterwards. Huge plays coming on through from KLA as the zone starts to collapse on through. That Yuasian ultimate going to be starting to come into play, but it's actually the tumult right now that's making it so incredibly problematic. Everyone losing all of that stamina and forced into the corruption tick. Damage JL's TXJ now in prime position to come with the Yoda ultimate and claps onto every player left behind. All of the stagger, all of the knockback. Yoda ultimate is one of the best in final zone. He's going to continue to get a lot of hits out onto Baida's peak. The F2 coming through just to get a last hit. But Bauda are going to be the last ones standing. Is it enough? Did they have enough kills to be able to claim that MVP?